Hello, everyone. It's Hope here, and I wanted to talk to you all about salvation this morning. I've recently started serving in the youth ministry at my church, and it's been a true blessing to sit back and observe the ministry in its entirety. But every week, of course, we encourage students I'm gonna say encourage, yes, but there's an opportunity for students, children to give their life to Christ and say yes to Jesus. And I just wanted to give an encouraging word for those ministers or anyone in ministry, serving youth ministry, because sometimes we can feel like our words are falling on deaf ears, that the seeds that we are planting are falling on hard soil, whatever the case is. It's beautiful, yes, to see those lives transform and students come forth every week, but also like there's beauty in the lives, the kids that sit there and choose not to walk forward, because they're in a seat, they're in the room, and whether we realize it or not, they are being filled. They're being filled up, and whether they realize it or not, they are receiving so much good information about God, about Jesus, about the Holy Spirit, and about church, about what love is, what love looks like, and whether the week ends and you've only brought one student to salvation, zero students to salvation, or 20, God is still in the room, and God is still molding these young people into who they are called to be. And our job is to just pour, fill ourselves up with the Holy Spirit, with the word, but just keep pouring, because eventually they will get it. Whether it be 40 years down the line, eventually that information they'll be able to use. And so it's a blessing that they choose to come, or maybe they don't, like maybe their parents force them to be there. But even that, there's beauty in them just coming week after week, getting good information that can be and will be applied throughout their lives, unconsciously or consciously, with intention or without intention. All of the words spoken over their lives every week will transform them. I was sitting and I was watching as I was on duty as an auditorium host, and just standing at the doors to make sure students did not go in and out of the door during service. And you have the kids that are distracted, kids on their phones, kids talking amongst themselves. And I was just sitting back and I was reflecting on when I was a youth, sitting in youth ministry. And actually, I was thinking about the day that I gave my life to the Lord. I was 11 years old, and it was at, it wasn't revival, but summer vacation Bible school. And I didn't even know what I was walking for, but God knew. I didn't know why I decided to get up out of my seat that day, especially with so many children in the room. I mean, the sanctuary was packed with children. And I remember just being so young and just going, and whether it was because the people next to me were going or so many people had already done it. I believe my twin had already made that decision. Whether it was influenced by any of that, God was still moving. God was making room, or I didn't know that I was making room in my heart for God. And many years later, I decided to rededicate myself to Christ, with the knowledge that I had and the experience that I had. I decided that I wanted to do it with intention. And it was so beautiful. But I just was sitting back thinking about that day and that experience, and how I did not know, but God knew. I did not know that years later I would be talking about God and talking to youth about God and encouraging youth to surrender to God. I didn't know that. And that's the beauty of it. They have no idea what God has in store for them. But if we just continue to serve and continue to pour and continue to encourage, we will see a shift. We will see a transformation. Or maybe we won't see it, but we will trust. We can trust that God will do good, because that's what he says that he will do. So I just wanted to post this video in particular with some encouragement to everyone serving in youth ministry, that what you're doing is beautiful and what you're doing is impactful. And whether you see a change today or not, you see a change next week or not, you have to keep going, and you have to keep up with the endurance, because you're changing lives, and that is a beautiful thing. Because I was one of them. I was one of them, and you were one of them. And I just ask you to take a moment to reflect back on the day that you decided to give your life to Christ. Memories of you in youth ministry, or if you were never there, what would you have wanted to hear? What would you have wanted to experience? And I encourage you to offer that experience to our youth.